Reprise de débat. Resuming debate. The honourable member for Cowichan-Malahat-Langford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I just want to start by stating into the record what an absolute pleasure it is to have such a dedicated colleague like the member for Nanaimo, Ladysmith. We are fortunate enough to be neighbours on the beautiful island, Vancouver Island. We share a coastline together, and we both have a connection to Jean Crowder, the former Member of Parliament for Nanaimo Cowichan. We've often liked to joke that it took two of us to replace Jean because that's how good she was. But, you know, I want to set the stage, Madam Speaker, for why we are here debating, for my constituents back home who may be watching this. We are here debating. We've been given 1 hour of debate for my colleague's bill, C-352. And we're here because the Liberal government has used its majority, has used bully tactics to silence her voice, to silence her right to take forward legislation in this House on behalf of her constituents. The Procedure and House Affairs Committee deemed this bill non-votable. The member for Nanaimo Ladysmith appealed to this House, and for the first time ever, we had a historic secret ballot vote. We lobbied Liberal members of Parliament. We sent almost 30,000 emails to them. Strong voices from coastal communities. But still, they decided they were going to quash her voice, not let her stand in this place, and bring forward legislation, as is the right of every Member of Parliament in this place, and that's why we are here today. Madam Speaker, my riding has a long history with abandoned vessels. I could write a whole book just on Cowichan Bay and what it's gone through. In fact, we still have the SS Beaver down below water and waiting for action to happen. But, you know, I've had a long history with abandoned vessels, and the biggest problem with abandoned vessels has been the jurisdictional finger-pointing. You know, if it was laying on the seabed, it was the jurisdiction of the province, unless it was a municipality that had that particular foreshore. If it was an obstacle to navigation, you called the Coast Guard, who more likely than not would just tow it to the nearest sandbar and leave it there. In other instances, you could have the Port Authority involved. The main point, Madam Speaker, is that constituents, when they found an abandoned vessel, had no idea who to turn to and would just completely get the runaround. And, you know, I appreciate the government's efforts on Bill C-64, and I'm very glad that this House gave unanimous consent to move that important piece of legislation to committee. But the argument that my colleague from Nanaimo Ladysmith has made is that her bill fills in some important gaps, and the two bills complement each other. And it comes down to, you know, coastal voices. We have worked so long on this legislation for many years. We've had the backing of the Union of BC Municipalities and many different organizations who are involved in protecting our coast. And for the Liberals to use their majority just to silence us, to not even bring forward this bill for a vote, it shows an extreme lack of courage on their part, because I would have loved to have seen coastal British Columbian members of Parliament.
A point of order here. The Honourable Government House Parliament Secretary to the Government House Leader.
Yes, Madam Speaker, just on a point of order. The member has said this on a couple of occasions, and I don't think it's appropriate in the sense that we had actually a secret ballot. So it's unfair for the member to say that the Liberals actually voted in one way or another when, in fact, there could have been others that would have voted.
No, it's not. Well, member wishes to participate in debate. He may want to see about asking to be put on the list. The honourable member for Malahat-Langford, Cowichan-Malahat-Langford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And, you know, to the point of order, that is definitely a point of debate. I know my constituents know exactly how Liberals voted. We just have to take direction from the Procedure and House Affairs Committee. But that's beside the point, Madam Speaker. The point is that this House, with its Liberal majority, decided that coastal voices were not going to get their turn. They denied my colleague her chance to bring forward legislation in this House and have it debated. It shows bully tactics, an extreme lack of courage, And I think it's absolutely shameful behavior on the part of a government who came in with a mandate to give more respect to Parliament and to parliamentarians. In fact, I remember the speech by the Prime Minister when I was at the orientation session for new members of Parliament, and he kept on going on about how important our role as private members was in this place, our ability to bring forward legislation, to bring forward those ideas, put them in a bill, and to have it debated and voted on so we could actually have recorded votes on where individual members of Parliament stand. And we'll never get to know that now with C-352. We won't know where BC Liberal MPs stand on that bill because they decided to make it non-votable. Those are the facts, Madam Speaker. I could go on and on, but I just want to end with this, that no matter what their tactics, it will not stop us from speaking up strongly. And I again want to salute my colleague from Nanaimo, Lady Smith, for the incredible work that she's done on this file. And even with the criticisms I've just leveled at the Liberal government, I can assure them that when it comes to C-64, we will do our due diligence on that bill. We've given agreement in principle, but I believe there are some important amendments, and I look forward to the honourable member from Nanaimo, Lady Smith, working on that bill and making sure that it actually is the right fit for our important coastal communities. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Resuming debate.